It's the Mark and K. It's the Mark and K. It's the Mark and K show.
Mark and K show.
It's the Mark and K. It's the Mark and K. It's the Mark and K show.
Mark and K show. It's the Mark and K. Mark and K show.
It's Mark and K show. What's up, y'all? We are officially here on episode 1 of the Mark and K show, baby. Hey, we don't know where you guys are. If you're at home, if you're in your kitchen, if you're in the club, if you're on the stage twerking, wherever you may be, we are here in what?
And the lights is on and we here.
Hey, the lights is on and we're here. So listen, guys, our show today is pretty dope. It's our first episode. We want to come through and make sure we want to inspire you guys, no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through in your life right now. We want to remind you guys of a key few things that you should always take with you in your daily life. And our topic for today, Mark, is what?
The topic for today is growth. Growth. We want to inspire you. We want to inspire you so that you can get what your heart desire. You like that?
Mark the magician in the kitchen, the
feel
rapper. But really, honestly, guys, seriously, our topic for today is growth. And what we notice a lot of times, and we wanted to start our show off like this because growth is something that's very important in the whole aspects of our life and understanding where we are in life, what we want to do, what's our goals, and where we want to go. So you always, every day, for me, I wake up and these are some key things I tell myself. And I just want you guys to always remember, if you're listening to the Mark and K show, you're going to always hear us say a few things. I am strong. I am brave, bold, and beautiful. I am successful at everything that I do. I'm getting wealthier each and every day. And I won't stop till I reach the top.
Go ahead.
I'm strong. I'm brave. I'm beautiful. I am so successful at whatever I do. I am getting wealthier each day, and I won't stop till I reach.
Won't stop
the
till
top.
she reach the top.
I'm glad y'all know.
Won't stop till we reach the top. The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall.
Oh, that's a dope quote.
So yeah, that quote came from my uncle Nelson Mandela. He said the greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time we fail.
Oh, you know what? I took that rising every time we fail part. Sometimes when we fall down, we forget that you're not dead. You're gonna get back up again. It just takes time for you to do that. Like, don't just fall and die.
Hold on. Are you stealing from Donnie McClurkin?
We fall down,
but we get up.
We get up. For real, though. People think when they fall down and they just dead.
Right.
It's like, man, get your ass up.
Right.
You gonna be okay, but we get so bombarded with our finances, our kids, our life, our school that, we're just like, what the hell do I do now at this point? And we just stay there. And so we got to remind you guys, that's not a place. When you fall down, you don't die.
Right. So today's topic is what? Growth. So we got a quote, Yeah. And, we got to get you a showly quote every time, and today's quote is kind of sentimental. And for those of you that can relate, listen to it. So, quote of the day, people always ask, man, what if it don't work? But in the words of grandma, well, baby, what if it do?
And that quote is like close to home. You know what I'm saying? Like, that quote comes from my grandmother.
Right.
And the reason, I would never forget, I was moving out of state. I was moving out of Houston, and she came to my house and she said to me, I was crying. I was like a little nervous. I never been scared. I've never been scared.
Right.
I'm a person. I tell anybody, jump, leap. You gotta have faith that it's gonna work out and it's gonna work out in your favor. And you gotta believe and you gotta speak those things every time you get up, every time you start your day. But I was a little nervous. Even Jesus, I don't care what nobody say. I know when Jesus got on that cross, he had to be a little nervous, Mark. Because he even turned to his father and said,
"You won't let this pass. It's still time. We can let this go." Then
Jesus tell his dad, "Bro, have you forsaken me?"
Hey, man, Jesus.
Come on, Daddy, you leaving me up here. But on a serious note, I was a little nervous, and I said to her, "But Grandma, what if it don't work?" And she said to me, "But baby, What if it do? And that's what we want to take off today and remind you guys.
Right. So, episode 1, Mark and Kate show. You know, I know folks probably say they finna get on there and talk about relationship. Now, today's topic is growth. We gonna bring some folks in to talk about relationships, talk about business ownership, talk about a whole bunch of stuff. But today, we're gonna talk about growth.
Yeah. Well, you know, growth comes in different parts. And so what we want to remind everyone is that in growing, you have about 5 parts of growing, okay? So you have your spiritual aspect, you have your financial aspect, you have your physical, and then you have your emotional aspect of it all. And in your spiritual, you know, that's the first step before you can do anything is you have to grow spiritually.
Correct.
You have to grow consciously and spiritually. You have to build that relationship with your Savior. If it's for your Savior, if it's the universe, whoever it is to you, for me, it's God. You know, I'm going to God and Jesus, and that's who my spiritual growth develops in. And my spiritual growth comes, I have to seek His heart first.
Right.
So once I do the seeking of His heart for me, that's when a lot of things come into play and my mind is clear on a lot of things, a lot of fasting, a lot of praying. What about you, Mark?
Well, yeah, with spiritual growth, and we got a lot of people that are in churches, in the other things that they got. I really don't know too much about the other stuff.
I don't know about
but you got a lot of folks in it, but they're really not growing spiritually.
Right.
And before I say what I was going to say, the spiritual growth is actually the connection between all the financial growth, the physical growth, the mental growth, the prosperity. Because if you got something that's pushing you to go, if you got something to lean and depend on, then it's going to help you do all the other growths.
Right.
Now, what I was going to say was with the spiritual growth, a lot of us are in church, and I was going to say that we don't grow a lot spiritually because a lot of us have been in the same church since we were little kids.
Shoot,
right?
That's the church your mama took you to, your grandma took you to, your uncle.
And we've got used to so much seeing these other folks.
These damn mints.
We're not even growing no more.
That's true.
We're just in church.
You know, from where I'm from, and I used to say this a lot, is that I would say in the black community, you know, the church isn't really growing too much because more or less we're not attracting our youth.
Right.
You know, we've become so conscious in the way we do things and biblical, and it's just becoming where kids are running from you know, church, and they don't know that spiritual aspect, and that's why y'all crazy as hell these days.
Right, and that leads to you really don't grow when you're comfortable. No. I mean, do you agree?
I agree.
You really can't grow even on your job. If you've been on a job for 15 years and you used to coming in and sitting there and welcoming Mr. Joe and them there, having them sign the paper to come in.
They mess up.
And then Mr. Joe and them get out. And you say, all right, Mr. Joe, I'll see you later. And you make your check, and your check is able to buy you some noodles, some lunch meat and cheese.
And you got gas in your car.
Got gas in your car, and is able to feed your children and pay the rent. You are become comfortable.
You are complacent.
Because I know when you were growing up, your mind didn't say, I want to greet Mr. Joe now.
Right. I know my mind damn well ain't said, I don't want to greet Mr.
Right.
I told my friends from high school, I said, I ain't working for nobody. But it goes back into my spiritual, my spiritual aspect. I always believed that God has something greater for me because that's what the word says. And that's what I believed, and that's what I studied. So, you know, guys, you got to find a comfortable place that you can grow spiritually. And it's not just about going to church every Sunday. It's about finding that personal space that you and God have and how He can help you through whatever it may be. Because when you spiritually have grown, it controls a lot of your anger. You know, how you react to things, how you move to things, you know, the way you think, how violent you are, things that you engage into. So when you have mastered or you're working on your spiritual growth, these are things you tap into. It's not as easy for someone to say something and next thing you know, you're just like flipping tables over like, man, F this, you know, I don't give a damn. You know, you're ready to just kill somebody, fight somebody. You're just not so angrily. You're not just so easily angered.
Right. So with that, and being comfortable going from your spiritual growth to your emotional growth, your financial growth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, financial.
Your financial growth. And we were talking about how the kids that grow up in the hood, shout out to Fifth Ward, Texas. Hold up. Shout out. H-Town. We in the building.
What is it? What were you, reggae? Boom, boom.
I don't listen to reggae. That's
no, that is reggae. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know what that is. I said shout out to Fifth Ward. Fifth Ward in the building. Shout out one time for H-Town.
Shout out 585.
So, yeah. So, being comfortable, like kids in the hood, you know, you don't see doctors. You don't see lawyers. You don't see engineers.
Right.
You don't see the folks who are making all of the money.
Right.
You know. You see mom and daddy who bringing home the bacon. Shout out to my mom's Mamie Lee. Shout out Pop, Rudy. We in the
man,
building.
you better stop giving these people free shout outs.
Hey, man, it's my mama. One love, baby. So, yeah. So, we don't see that growing up in the hood where the middle class neighborhoods is a mixture of some folk who got the little bitty house, so they're able to stay there. And then they got the big house across the street, which is Dr. Willis.
Right,
he
right,
lived there.
Right.
Was Mr. Willis that same man? Dr. Willis, that was who we was greeting at first.
Yeah.
So Dr. Willis stays across the street. So now my name is Junior, but my best friend Bobo across the street, that is a doctor.
Right.
So now my eyes are big.
Yeah.
And so it's hard.
Now that you see that is greater, you know, right next to you.
Right.
You understand that somebody else beyond what your family may have done, you see that somebody else around you was able to soar.
Right. But a lot of times we become what we call products of our environment.
Yeah.
You know,
because we don't see a lot. We don't know a lot, you know, and it's plenty of people, you know, we come from neighborhoods that are broken homes.
Right.
Just violent, criminal activities. And so this all goes into part with balancing our spiritual nature, because these are things we may not see. These are things that we only know. But then it also, like we said, affects you financially because you feel stuck.
Right.
You think that, you know, I can't get any further than where I'm at. You know, so, I said this before. We grew up in a neighborhood, for me, where the drug dealers and the hoes were who were, you know, praised.
That's who had the money.
That's who had the money. The hoes had the money, and the drug dealers had the money. Listen, and so you look around. You right. We walk around with holes in our socks. My mama going to work every day. She paying all the bills. She struggling. Mama, I don't want to be like you. Mama, you ain't got no damn money. Right. I want to be like the hoes and the drug dealers. Okay. I want to wear the nice clothes. I want to drive the nice whips. And that's what we thought. You know what I mean? You had the nice the girls who was selling Gucci. They had the nice bags. They was with the big ballers. They went on the lavish trips. And so that's what we seen growing up in the hood. And so, but we didn't realize that was just a ghetto, you know, interpretation. And that's because of what we know. We're in the hood. That's all we see. A lot of times, most people, when you grow up in your hood, you understand you don't get outside those hood. Most times people don't travel. They don't know anything but their immediate community. Right.
And that's why if I went to my hood today, if you went to your hood today, you would see most of the same people that you grew up with in the hood, because they become so complacent.
Yeah.
And that's all I know.
What that guy said to us one day, Mark, he said, man, I think we was watching Joe Budden podcast, and he said, man, I went on vacation. He said, I seen dudes from the hood in Ghana. I said, the hell y'all doing in Ghana? How y'all? But you know what I mean? Like, it's the product people are understanding. They're stepping outside of what they know now, and they're seeing that there's more. The world has more to offer.
Right. And so we shouldn't forget where we come from. We just shouldn't stay where we came from.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
At some point, you should have a push. You know, and a lot of us, and don't get me wrong, I came from the hood.
Right.
And I had ambition. You know, and it goes back to Granny said, well, baby, what if it do?
Yeah.
You know, because growing up in that area, you'd be like, man, we can't do this.
Yeah, your mindset has developed to think that you have to live on Section 8. You know, you have to live in poverty. You have to, you know, live on SNAP, on food stamps. And that's not the case. You do not have to live like that. And we got to understand, because like I said before, and you know, we don't have conversations about this, that the government has brainwashed our people to think that we have to stay in these programs because we have been manipulated to think that these programs are to guide us and to help us build, when they're really developed to set us back.
Right.
They're really developed to keep us low, because you got to think about it. You get into a house and to your mind, it's a pretty decent house, but into somebody else's mind, it's like, oh my God, where the hell are we living at?
Right.
But in your mind, you're paying $200 a month for rent. You're good. You're like, I can, dress, go out, do what I want, live a great life. But in reality, you're not going to grow any further because you're scared to leap. Because you're thinking, if I leap, or if I do better, if I go and get more, then that's going to make, my rent go higher. That means I'm going to actually have to go and get a job. That means I'm going to actually have to work hard for my money. Right. And so it scares us. And because of that, we're scared to step outside our comfort zone.
And that goes back to the school systems. The school systems are not teaching us that we can be our own boss.
Yes.
School systems are not teaching us that drawing, you can draw real well. You can go make a whole lot of money. They say, no, take R1, R2, then go on about your business.
Yeah.
They don't say you can design buildings for people.
Yeah.
You can get paid for doing the construction.
Right.
The school system.
You can start your own.
Right. They don't teach you that. They teach you this subject, math, French, English.
You know what they teach
biology.
us? They teach us to work for them.
Right.
That's what we have been taught, to go to school, to spend all your money on college.
All your money on college.
I'm so damn tired of If was it Uncle Sam, if you hear me?
Nah, ain't Uncle Sam, it's Sally Mae.
I'm so tired of her ass.
Sally
Mae, if you hear me, I ain't got no more money for you, sis. But no, they teach us to go to school, you know what I mean, to go to college, spend thousands of dollars on these pieces of paper that we probably never use any of this stuff that we learned. In reality, it may be bits and pieces, but honestly, just being in the field, and and I've known, we learned most of the things we know just from experience.
Right.
For just living.
From just doing it.
Living
and
reading and trusting,
believing,
looking at other
looking
people.
At successful folks.
Yes.
And believing. One thing we got to do, people, is start believing.
You gotta believe.
We talk about spiritual, we talk about financial, but you gotta believe it.
You gotta believe
it. You gotta believe it. You gotta trust it. You gotta listen to Granny and say, what if it do? You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I've been working at the job 10 years. I'm still not satisfied.
That's sad.
This ain't what I wanted to be when I grew up.
I was so tired working here.
I had a parent meeting with my daughter today in school, and the teacher was telling me, that she fell asleep in class.
Right.
That's why we were there. She fell asleep. So when we get there, we find out, well, this was her first time falling asleep, Mm-hmm. So in the middle of the meeting, I wanted to stop and say, baby, what is it that you want to be when you grow up?
Right.
Because I saw a meme one time, and the teacher was up there teaching real good, and little Chris was looking down at his
little Chris.
At his paper, and he said, I don't want to be nothing that has to do with this subject. But we teaching him something that he don't want to be in
He
life.
don't want to be that. And you know what? We've developed this thing where even parents, we're hiring our kids, go to school, go. And I believe that our children should go to school and should be educated. But I don't believe that college is for everyone. And I believe that's another financial burden that a lot of our people have been placed into, because we can't afford to work a job and pay back student loan, which creates us to be in more debt. And if it gives us more debt, what happens? It affects our credit. And if it affects our credit, it affects the way we can build in our life with our kids. And so all these things collab and go together. So, just financial, spiritual, all of those aspects, but a major key is your personal growth. Physical, emotional. So those are some things that we're going to come back to. We just want to do some quick shout outs right here in the Mark and K show. We got some sponsors that we want to shout out really quickly. We got Love Monkey. That is from Rochester, New York, 585. Shout out to Love Monkey.
Rochester.
Beard, oils, whatever you need, she got. We have, what else do we have today?
We got Ciroc Boy Reese.
Ciroc Boy Reese from Black Karma Clothing, guys. Make sure you follow him on Black Karma on Instagram. blackkarma.com on Instagram. Make sure you show him some love. And then also make sure, guys, if you are not following us yet, make sure you follow the Mark and K show on IG.
Share with your friends.
Hashtag the Mark and K show.
The lights is on and we here.
Hey,
and we ain't going
the lights are on and we here.
We ain't going nowhere.
Mark, before we touch into the other part of the program, the iPod today, is there any advice that you can give the listeners on your personal aspect, on spiritual, emotional, and personal? Spiritual, financial, and personal.
Real life, And me and Kay had this conversation the other day. Shout out to Kanisha for continue to motivate, and inspire through it all. She got that oomph factor on her, so she always stays motivated. Anyway, there was idea. Was it an idea? Business venture.
Oh, business venture. Yeah.
That she wanted me to do, and I sit here, and this is all how this show number 1 really came about.
Yeah.
We had a business venture she wanted me to get started, right?
Yeah.
And I sit there thinking I was stagnant with it. Boom, boom, boom. Came down to it. She was like, "What's up? What's taking you so long?" And you know what I said? Well, what if it don't work?
That's true.
I said, you know how many other folk got this business already? And I know I'm saying this to some people who is out there like, well, what if it don't work? I just really my passion is what I do, and I'm real good at it. But I see so many. What if mine don't work?
Right. So many T-shirts.
Kanisha came back and said, "What'd you say to me?"
I said, "Let me clear my throat." Hey. I said, Mark. You know how many T-shirt business there is? And you buy a T-shirt every time we go to the store. You know how many restaurants there is on every corner? And every time we go somewhere, we stop and eat. You know how many liquor stores there is? But we will stop and pass one. We don't say, well, there's a liquor store on the west side, so I can't open one on the north side. What you guys got to always remember, and if you're listening to this, you got to understand that you can't worry about competition. You have to have faith. You have to know that if you believe, if you push forward, then it's going to happen for you, okay? Because your product, what makes you different from anybody else? If you want to leave that job, hey, I'm tired of going to this job every day. I'm tired of working for these people. I want to start my own business. You got to say to yourself, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the wealthy in this business. I'm going to have doors open for me. I'm going to grow. I'm going to prosper. I'm going to be the best than anybody else. And you can't worry about what anybody else is going to do, what they're going to say, who's going to be better than you. You can't let that stop you, because your boss, who you're working for right now, they never let them stop them.
Right.
So it doesn't matter where you work for. You know how many clinics there is on every corner? You think a doctor said, I'm not going to open up my own clinic because there's 10 dental offices in this city or whatever? So you can't live like that. And we just, we want to remind you guys that, listen, always understand that you can grow, you can succeed, you can master your craft, and don't worry about what anyone else is doing.
Right. And they got something called mountains that they put in front of us. And, when we get caught up and scared, just like I was when I said, hey, there's a little mountain. But, they say that some folks are assigned to mountains to show other people that they can be moved.
Oh, that was deep.
Don't run away from your mountain. Don't turn your back, because there's somebody out there, your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your neighbor, your friend, your mother, your father is looking at you. Yeah. And trying to see, can this be moved? Because guess what? If you can move a mountain and somebody's looking at you, that's going to set your whole family free, your friends free.
Oh, man.
Because they're going to be like, wow, it can be done. We can get it done.
We can move it.
So don't run from your mountains. You know what I'm saying? You got to believe, you got to grow.
Yeah,
if you got to believe,
you can achieve.
Talk to me.
The next one we want to touch base with is what your physical growth.
Yeah.
We have success. I was listening to the Breakfast Club the other morning, and they were talking about what's the big girl that did all the music. I forgot her name, y'all. She got she remember she showed her ass on at the Rockets game.
Yeah, that was.
I forgot her name.
That was LeBron game.
Let me look it up real quick.
That was Miami game.
Yeah.
What about her?
So, but neither here nor there. They were talking about her weight. And they were saying basically, another young lady that was interviewing was saying, what I don't get is why we continue to keep to praise her body, because she's actually unhealthy, and she's not that she shouldn't love herself, that she shouldn't, be great.
I see where you're going
here. You see what I'm going? Okay. So they were basically saying we praise the wrong things. We're praising diabetes and unhealthiness and high blood pressure and all these cancer and these diseases. When you're not growing physically, you think, oh, I've been eating the same all my life. I tell Mark all the time, stop eating the way you eat because it motivates me to eat bad. Because you are the product of my environment around you. You around me. Right. But it has to be a journey. But you have to come into your mind that you want to physically get right. And that growth stage, because you got to think about it. I'm going to tell you guys something. When you are physically in shape, it helps with your career, with your personal life, with your finances, because you have more energy. You push yourself harder. Anybody that can get up every day and work out, it takes a certain type of discipline.
Right.
And if you have that discipline is going to show in everything you do.
Right.
Because you're going to want to be the best. Because you know why? You want to look the best. When you look the best and you feel the best, it's going to come, tenfold on everything you do.
Right. Did Mr. Joe tell you that?
Mr. Joe, he told me that. Mr. Joe told me, my trainer, y'all, he told me, he said, a successful person works out in the mornings.
Right.
Before you start your day, you work out.
Right. So with that said, Kay been doing this little keto diet. So I'm really helping her. And,
shout out to the keto.
I'm trying to get her to go through, and she thought I was helping her because I thought she was fat.
I did. I remember I told him, we went into the grocery store, y'all, and he never engages into my, get well stuff. He just says, yeah, you should work out. But he was really, looking for foods for me and really encouraging me. And I was like, well, damn, am I that fat? But I guess he said it had nothing to do with me being fat. It's just the fact of, having people around you that motivate you.
Right.
That push you to be greater in your growth process. So whatever you're doing, you want to have an environment that says, you can do this. Right. You got this. Right. Go. Don't stop. Run. Jump. Fight harder. Get you some
people behind you that's going to push you.
Right.
Stop hanging with them folk that just going along just to get along.
Yeah, you don't. You should. It's everybody you hang with. Your 5 people that you talk to every day. You're like those 5 people. So if you look in your phone and you see these are the 5 people that I know I talk to on a daily basis, more than likely you're in the same place that they are.
Right.
Because successful people communicate with other successful people. You don't sit around.
Who we run with now. Successful people,
boss-ish. I remember I told my friend this, and she was like, "Oh, you can't judge. You can't have bullshit. If you want to grow and you want to be successful, you better fucking surround yourself around successful
Can't grow when you're
people.
Comfortable.
You cannot grow when you're comfortable, and the people that it's the whole thing of insanity. You continuously do the same things over and over, and we want a different outcome. Bro, it's no different outcome. If you continuously hang with the same dudes that you grew up with, and none of them got jobs, or none of them are taking care of their kids, none of them are traveling, what's gonna happen?
You just gonna be sitting in the same place you was.
You're gonna be in the same place, right?
Same place with them.
But if you start surrounding yourself around lawyers, all the dudes that you run with are lawyers, doctors, investors, homeowners, they got real estate, entrepreneurs, you're gonna be like, man, shit, why I'm driving this car when I could be driving Lambos and
all facts
and living in these fine $300 and $400 $1 million mansions.
Right.
But we don't surround ourselves around the right people, and so our mind tells us that we're living good and we're doing good when actually, man, we're barely fucking making it, man.
Right.
So shout out to everybody that's listened to our episode 1 here on Growth.
Episode 1, Mark and Kay show. The lights is on and we here. So look, what we're gonna do now is going to the mark down and the K up.
Mark down and the K up. So if you guys don't know what that is, we're gonna tell you really quick. Mark, tell them what the mark down and K up is.
We go visit a few places, and we're not gonna keep it too long with it, but we visit a lot of places in Houston, So we're gonna tell you about a few that we went to, and we're gonna give it either a mark up or a mark down. So if you're out there, we're gonna be coming to eat. eat at your place. If you want to invite us, just, email markandkshow.com, themarkandkshow.com.
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Oh, hell nah, Mark. You about to tell the people the wrong
Oh, man, my bad.
It's at the Mark and K Show at gmail.com, y'all. Check us out, the Mark and K Show at gmail.com. Make sure you guys, in your subject, you're going to put, what are they putting again, Mark?
I have a question.
I have a question.
Or either you are invited.
Or you're invited. So if you want to invite us to some place, if you own a facility or bar, grill, food, restaurant, clothing shop, hair salon, nail salon, whatever it is, we want to be there.
If you have a question that you need us to answer, I just want us to talk about a topic on the show. Hey, I have a question. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to get it. We'll be here the next week with your answer and your subject.
But really quick, we got people Mark, that do call in. So in our first show today, we have somebody that have a question. And so what we like to do in our second half, we're going to go into a question that somebody sent us, and we're going to kind of go over and give our opinions and our views on that question that they sent us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to post that question on our IG, and we're going to ask that you guys also give your input and your opinions on it. So but before we do that, we just want to go into our Mark and K in the city. So we went to a restaurant really quick. We're not going to give the name of that restaurant on air, but if you guys want to know, you can always email us and we can tell you. But we experienced like horrible food.
It's located on 16 in Maine. We nicknamed it Figuero's. You know why?
Figuero's.
Take that F out and replace it, and you'll know where we went.
Y'all know where we went. It's
All
off of 16. Okay,
Yeah.
So we go in there. Right, and we go to order the food. Mark orders his plate. It's like $40 damn. And he's like, "Kay, this is the best thing on the menu." It was horrible, guys.
Redfish Punch Train.
They didn't even take it. Oh, did they take it off the bill?
Yeah, they took it off the bill. It was a
marked down. So, guys, they say the drinks at this place is pretty good. I didn't really think so, but Mark said they were really good.
Drinks are phenomenal.
So, guys, we want you guys to make sure on our IG, we're going to post some more information about this. We want you guys to give us either a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Right. We're not going to say the name on air, but if you want to know, you can always just send us an email. But really quick, we got a question today from one of our viewers, listeners, and she wants to know some relationship advice, and so we want to help her out with this. So the question that she has is, if your boyfriend cheats on you, do you leave or do you stay if you're married? All right, so the question was, if your boyfriend cheats on you,
if your husband
if your husband cheats on you, do you leave or do you stay if you're married? Now, with that question, before you answer, Mark, it can go both ways because it could be a husband or a relationship.
My answer is short.
What's your answer, Mark?
My answer is, what did the wedding vow say?
All right, if you're listening, if you are listening, viewer, Mark said, what did the wedding vow say?
Now, I'm going to be quick because we're going to wrap this up so we can get ready for episode 2. But check this out. You have to have, and that comes with everything we talked about today: spiritual growth, physical growth, mental growth. You got to be prepared for that to get through it.
Right.
Now, if you don't have a real spiritual life, then you're probably not going to be able to make it through someone cheating on you and leaving you.
Right, in a marriage.
If you got a spiritual life, a backbone, a husband that even though he did it, he prayed for you, or a wife who cheated on you, y'all pray together, and you know that, sometimes the flesh takes over like you did when Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that another time. But if you know that, then I think you can get through it. But it's going to have to take a lot of prayer, a lot of...
But and like you said too, financial goes on our topic today too. Like, most people, you just can't get up and leave when you have a lot of finances tied into a person. You have a lot of assets. People, they think it's easy when someone cheats on you or does something wrong. It's like, okay, I'm gonna just get up and get out of here. But you probably have property together.
Right.
You have stocks and bonds. You have so many financial things together, and then you might have children together. So everybody's situation is different. And if you're listening, your situation may be different. Now, I'm gonna give you Kay's opinion. Mark gave you his opinion. Me, girl, get your shit and go, okay? Give him them cars, them houses. He better, Jesus forgive, but you better not, okay? People do make mistakes, but for me, hell nah, I'm sending you back to the dogs.
If you have any more questions, comments, concerns, email the Mark and K Show at gmail.com. and we'll be able to get with you. We appreciate you for joining us.
Thanks,
in
guys.
episode 1.
Catch you in episode
Growth.
2. Make sure you follow us at the Mark and K Show. It's the Mark and K. It's the Mark and K. It's the Mark and K Show.
Mark and K Show.
It's the Mark and K. It's the Mark and K. It's the Mark and K Show.